In addition, I look at other issues. Certainly staffing is an issue. I know it's important. We initiated it on our own through a great collaboration of over 150 different organizations, government and otherwise, through the leadership of our Department of Aging, an initiative called Let's Take Care, LTC. And as part of that element included caregivers, and particularly both the recruitment and the retention of caregivers in our county, because we know that's just such a vital link. You've got to have quality, and you've got to be able to retain those individuals to be a key link in providing the kind of care that we expect for both older adults and for people with developmental and physical disabilities. We need to enhance that. At the state level, I think that means a partnership between not only DHS, but also workforce development, making sure the Department of Commerce, the local level, counties, municipalities, even workforce investment boards, making sure that we're doing all that we can to take the talent that's out there and making sure that they're well-equipped, well-skilled, and prepared to take on these very important caregiver jobs, and that we're doing all we can to retain them for our providers and our partners all throughout the state of Wisconsin. I also look at streamlining the process. Years ago, before the change of Badger Care Plus was enacted, Milwaukee County administered a program called GAMP, the General Assistance Medical Program. And for us, one of the strengths that we had, even though we weren't a large healthcare system, was that for those who participated, those providers who participated, we were very efficient in making payments. And that's real important, because I've heard too many horror stories about providers, even in the past year or so dealing with the state, who had to take out loans to meet their payroll. That's just unacceptable. If we're going to partner with individual providers, with community-based organizations and others out there, we've got to make sure that we've got an efficient process that allows all of our providers to get paid on a timely basis, to make sure they can continue to provide for their employees, so their employees can continue to provide for the clients we all mutually want to serve in this state. That's a real important element. So it also means, in terms of divisions within DHS, we've got to make sure there's a balance between quality and cost containment, because both are key elements, and one shouldn't offset the other. There's got to be a balance between the two, and it means bringing all of our stakeholders to the table to make sure that that's done the most effectively and efficiently. Which goes right to what I was thinking, the next step, certainly partnerships, whether it's DHS, dealing with the MCOs, the managed care organizations at our counties and district levels, and making sure we deal with the county infrastructure itself, certainly our service providers, all the other stakeholders, the families, the patients, the clients we're serving, certainly being at the forefront. We've got to make sure that the expansion efforts we provide in the future and the way that we continue to modify the system, whether it's in improvements in terms of process, making sure that payments are made, reimbursement is done on a timely basis, certainly making sure that as we expand, we do so in a way that includes all those stakeholders, and so that as we do expansions in other parts of the state of Wisconsin, it's done in a way that learns from the mistakes of the past and builds on the strengths of those programs that are now running effectively and efficiently. We want to continue to do that all across the state. It also means transparency. When we deal with issues like capitation rates and things of that nature, there's got to be a transparency so that everyone involved, all of our shareholders, all of our stakeholders, understand exactly what's going on in the system anytime we make a change. Finally, there's got to be a very effective evaluation process. That means an assessment of how the state operates, how the CMOs operate, how the providers operate, the quality of the services we provide, and how truly cost effective that is. And we're willing to look at independent reviews, whether it be through the Legislative Audit Bureau and the committees that would be involved in partnering with our state lawmaker friends who would be a part of the Joint Audit Committee, making sure that other independent reviews and assessments are done to ensure that, again, we have that balance between providing the best quality care possible and doing it in the most cost-effective way as well, doing it ensuring that all of our partners have a seat at the table, and that to the best to our ability possible, we build a consensus when making changes and improvements in the future. Really, that's ultimately what it's all about. But to take a step back, it goes back to the vote that I was honored to take back in the 90s and the efforts we've been involved with here in the 2000s. And that is making sure we eliminate the waiting list for services, that people have access to effective, quality, sustainable long-term care services, whether it be older adults, people who've earned the right to have our support through all the hard work they've committed through the generations here to the people of the state of Wisconsin, as well as to those individuals under the age of 60 who are challenged through long-term care needs because of developmental and physical disabilities. In both cases, we've got to take a step back and make sure that in evaluating and in how we provide those services, we ultimately don't lose sight of who we're trying to ultimately serve. It's not the bureaucracy, it's not even individual providers, it's those individuals. It's those men and women who are key elements, who are key parts of this great state of Wisconsin. I believe in the state. I know we've got a great state. I know the times are challenging. I know the next state budget is going to be incredibly challenging as well, but I believe in the state. I believe in the people of the state, the people that work for many and work with many of you, the people who make up our caregiver base and our provider base and others out there. I know we've got a tremendous workforce, the kind of people who embody the Midwestern work ethic in the state, the kind of people you build not only your agency or your business around, but the people you build a state and a community around. I believe in our employers. Many of our providers and partners out there are companies that ultimately have been around for some time, in many cases multi-generational, and they treat your employees like their family. You're vested here, you want to be here, you're just begging for a partnership to allow you to expand here in the state of Wisconsin. We've got tremendous quality of life, great assets in this state, a wonderful workforce, and tremendous employers. What is failing us all too often is not our people or our places. What has been failing us in the past is our state government. And the good news is I report to you on November 2nd of 2010. I ask for your vote because I am here to tell you that help is on the way. We're going to make this a great state again, a Wisconsin we can believe in. And I appreciate the opportunity to share with you here this morning.